have seat right next.
Talk to the robot. Right, Claire? Talk to the robot.
Yep, I will. It has two eyes, it looks like, and it does.
When it turns on, it looks like an owl. It's called the Owl Pro.
Yeah, it looks like an owl.
You ready?
One more minute.
We will go live at exactly 6:30.
Tell me. Oh, there we go. Good evening, everyone. I am Judy Salomon, the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Manlius. Tonight we have 3 appeals to hear and decide whether to grant or deny the applicant's request for area variance, all based on the established zoning laws and regulations of the town of Manlius. The meeting will come to order. Can we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'd like to introduce our board, our ZBA board this evening. We have Tim Kelly, we have KP Kelly, Jim Campbell, Deb Witzel, our secretary, yes. Jamie Sutton, our town attorney, Randy Capriati, our director of codes, and Claire Miller, our other board member. Have board members reviewed the minutes?
Yes.
Are there any corrections or revisions?
Nope.
Madam Chairman, can I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
All in favor?
Aye.
Need a second?
Oh, need a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Legal notices have been published. A motion to waive the reading of the publications.
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Okay, our first agenda item is Mr. Wilcox. Hi, Mr. Wilcox.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Would you like to come up here to the podium? So we have Lawrence and Dawn Wilcox III of 224 Sheps Lane, Kirkville. Public hearing for an area variance for a 24 by 40 foot shed with an existing rear yard setback of 6 feet. They will need a variance of 34 feet to meet the required 40 feet rear yard setback. With an existing side yard setback of 10 feet, they will need a variance of 10 feet to meet the required 20 foot side yard setback. Motion to open the public hearing.
Make the motion.
Second. Ask if anyone wishes to talk concerning the application. Anyone wishing to talk regarding the application in the public?
Well,
They may want to give the presentation first. And then
Okay,
you can ask.
go ahead.
yeah.
Wait, you want me to give it?
Yes. Tell us what you would like to do.
So basically, there was a shed that was there, it was an existing shed that was already there, we used it as a wood shed. It was getting pretty old, starting to crumble, so we decided to tear it down and apply for this variance, to be able to put up a new pole barn. 24 by 40, it'd look a lot better from town, it'd be able to give me a lot more storage, I could put my boat in there and just keep it clean. Yeah, but things are already locked and key because, past few years, we've had a lot of robberies in that area too. People breaking in and stuff, so I feel a lot more comfortable with my items locked up.
Does anyone have any questions, Mr. Wilcox?
Is that gonna match the color of the house?
Yes.
When I was out there and talked to this
Yes.
gentleman, and one of the reasons for the rear setback of 6 feet off the lot line is because the septic system is between the house and where he wants to put the barn. And that area out there is rather wet, so we don't want to disturb his septic tank. So that's why he's only 6 foot off the rear. And basically, the other thing is that with the 10 foot on the side, 6 foot in the back, you know, if we had to, or if emergency people needed to, they can get around that building with hoses and one thing or another,
And
right?
there's nothing behind it either, so.
Right now,
No, it's
there's
just
nothing.
what's behind it.
Right, yes. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Wilcox?
You know how high the building is going to be?
I'm not sure how, I know the peak's only gonna be around 15 foot, I don't know that. The ceiling's 9 foot.
Yeah,
It says 9 foot here.
it says 9 foot, and then there's about 4 foot truss, I think.
Yeah.
So he's under the 17. Yeah. Yeah.
Just putting a Bolton in that, not like you're putting a camper or something into it.
No, it's not
No,
taking
it's not
campers.
high enough.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilcox, you answered all of the 5 criteria questions, no. Can you expand a little bit on the benefit?
Benefit for the.
Benefit
town.
sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other feasible method.
I didn't hear you.
The benefit sought by you can be achieved by some other feasible method. Can it, or no?
No,
Okay. Do you think it's gonna produce an undesirable change?
no.
Okay. You think the request is substantial?
We mean by substantial.
You think it's,
Well, that's the question we're asking you.
yes, yes.
Is it being a substantial investment on my part?
No,
or-
no.
Not
In
investment.
size, in size, you're.
I don't think it's too big, no.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I think it'd look good right there on that lot, to be honest with you.
And it won't have any adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood? All right. Anyone else have any other questions?
Yes, I do. I didn't see in the paperwork, is there gonna be an asphalt driveway extended to that?
Driveway to it?
Yeah.
No.
Anyone from the public like to comment? Okay. All right, can I have a motion from the board to close the public hearing?
How much? Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
Second, all approved? All in
Aye.
favor, I should say? Okay. We closed that portion of the public hearing, so I'm just gonna ask the questions to the board. Okay, question number 1, the benefit sought by the applicant, can that be achieved by some other feasible method? You guys think so? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
I think because of that septic issue
Because
you
of
were
this,
Yeah,
talking.
I think that kind of locks them into where it needs to be.
Do you think it will create an undesirable change, would be produced in character of neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties?
Nope.
No.
There's wood, is it wooded around there or?
Wooded
like
behind it.
primarily?
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So might want to add that.
Whether the request variance is substantial?
I don't think it's substantial, but you'd be taking, there's not much property left when you
So,
talk
yeah.
it's through
Can't
building.
do anything really other
Yeah.
than that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that tall, not that tall, it's large but not that tall, so I think.
Right.
Whether the variance will have an adverse effect on physical or environmental conditions?
I don't
No,
think so.
because it's
In that
not right near
spot,
the
no.
woods.
No, yeah, you back up to the woods and.
Yes. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created?
Yeah, you
Yes.
wanted a barn.
Okay, wanted a barn. Okay. Okay, so, the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community? Or the benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community?
I say the benefit to the applicant does outweigh any detriment to the neighborhood.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
And then, do we need a secret? Anything?
No, seeker, it's a type 2, so there's no further seekers required.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve or deny the request by Mr. Wilcox?
I make a
What?
motion, Madam Chairman. I move that the zoning board grant an area variance to Lawrence and Don Wilcox for the real property located at 224 Sheps Lane, Kirkville, New York. This variance is being granted for the specific purpose of permitting the construction of a 24-foot by 40-foot shed, thereby modifying the 40-foot rear yard setback to that of 6 feet, leaving a variance of 34 feet, and modifying the 20-foot side yard setback to that of 10 feet, leaving a variance of 10 feet.
All in favor?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second? Thank you. Okay, you've been granted your request.
Beautiful. Thank you for the work time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Sir, thank you, great night.
I'm ready. Come to my home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our second applicant is, she's on the screen, Vanna Bazaz?
Yes.
Bazaz of 109 Cirrus Court, Manlius. Looking for an area variance of a 16 by 34 in-ground pool. She needs 2 variances on the same side of the yard for each corner of the pool with an existing side yard setback of 11 feet. They will need a variance of 9 feet to meet the required 20 feet side yard setback. And with an existing side yard setback of 13 feet, they will need a variance of 7 feet to meet the required 20 feet side yard setback. Legal notices have been published. A motion to waive the public hearing? Waive the notices.
Reading
Read in the notices, sorry. This is my first rodeo tonight. You're doing great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you are trying to achieve with your pool?
Just trying to add a pool to our backyard so the kids can stay sane in this COVID era, and so we don't have to travel too much. And nothing major, no other vested or hidden agendas are there. Just to increase the use of our property.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
The request seems to be reasonable, in my estimation. I've got a question on why we need the 2 variances, but I don't know if that's important at this point.
They're separate distances. If you grant the biggest one, that will cover the whole pool on that side, in case it has to be shifted, in case it hits a rock, or and then you have to move it a little bit. If you grant the variance, it covers that whole side.
But we do need the 2?
Because the pool's angled from the property.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
where the tips of the pool.
Right, no, I see where he's got it drawn, it's clear enough. I didn't know that we actually needed the 2 variances.
There are 2 variances, but you grant the biggest one, that will cover the second one.
So if we okay the 11,
You're fine on the 9, the other ones.
Yes.
So you can do it under.
You get away with doing it under.
Correct, it's there to show you that 2 that they need, okay? Because they're 2 separate distances. But if you grant 9 feet,
yeah,
10 feet, the biggest one covers the second.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay. That's my own information.
Yep.
Whatever good that's gonna do, you know. Thank you.
So, you said the property is not deep or wide enough to do this, so that's why it's gotta be where it's at, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
When are you planning on putting the pool in?
Hopefully in June.
Yeah, we're waiting for this meeting. The thought is June, July.
Anyone else have any questions?
They did answer the
They
questions
did,
quite well.
yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yep, they wanted the pool for your kids and for you, for your
Sanity.
sanity. I was was waiting for you to say it, but I'll echo you. so.
Yeah, you were too kind.
But you did a good job answering the questions.
Yes, you're very
Thank you.
thorough.
So
Thank you.
everyone's read those.
Yes. Okay, anybody have any comments? No? Okay. I'm gonna ask for the board for a motion to close the public hearing.
On that motion. I'll
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we're gonna just go through the 5 criteria questions. Number 1, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other feasible method.
Not with that property, I don't think.
Can you say that again, Tim?
I said not with that property, I don't see any other
No,
way
it's
that
not
it
that-
would,
it's
it
not
would
that
work.
big.
There's not
Yeah.
enough depth to, right, Randy, as far as
Yeah.
orientation.
Stuff.
Yeah, they got that drainage easement. They can't build on it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at was,
So,
yeah.
Whether undesirable change would be produced in character of neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties.
No.
no,
Other houses have pools.
Yes.
yeah, other
Nice
pools in
neighborhood.
the area, yeah.
Whether the request variance is substantial?
Well,
I don't think so.
No.
no,
Whether the variance will have an adverse effect on physical or environmental conditions?
no,
No.
shouldn't is right, no.
And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And I just want to clarify for the record that the memo that answered the criterion does say ZBA Town of Cicero, but I'm sure the applicant means the Town of
Manlius.
Yeah, I did call to get that changed. It was a mistake.
She knows where she's at, right?
Yeah, we used to live in Liverpool before.
All right. So the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or does not?
I gotta say that it does.
Benefits, yeah.
Benefit does outweigh the, any
Detriment.
detriment to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Is there a motion to approve or deny the request for the pool?
Yeah? You wanna do it?
So we need a 9-foot variance, is that what, or was it?
No, we need 2.
You need two, you need two, you need
We just,
a 9-foot side and a 13? Was that what it was, Randy?
9 and.
To make
Nine
it,
foot var-
9 and sub.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to make it easier, if we just do the whole thing.
Right, so, yeah, so what Randy was trying to say is, if we just make it a 1 variance for 9 feet, then they can, you know,
Covers.
they can squeeze it around however they need to when they
Right.
get there, and that should be sufficient, instead of trying to say on the top one it's 7 and the bottom
Right.
corner it's 9.
Okay.
so we'll just do the 9. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, Madam Chairwoman, I would like to make a motion to approve a 9-foot side yard variance for Sapna Bazaz and Prashant Kaul at the real property of 9109 Cirrus Court, Manlius, for the construction of a pool.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You got your pool.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Too bad you don't have it today, right?
Permit, yeah, well, yeah.
In one of the pool party.
We're all invited then?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you, enjoy.
Are we all set to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, our third applicant is Andrew Cummings of 7 Edgewood Parkway. You want to step up? Mr. Cummings would like to construct a 24 by 30 foot attached garage with an existing side yard setback of 0 feet. They will need a variance of 20 feet to meet the required 20 feet side yard setback. Okay. Motion to waive the reading of the public hearing?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you would like to do with your garage?
Currently, we don't have a garage. We have a shed, a very small shed, obviously detached from the backyard. Obviously, the plan is to put an attached garage on. We did look at a detached garage, but for any reason, we're really interested in putting in an attached garage for obvious reasons. Getting out of the elements.
Okay. So was it a two-car garage previously? Was there a two-car garage there?
The prior owner of the house turned the garage, attached garage, into living space. And it wasn't two-car, it was very, very small. I don't know the dimensions off the top of
The
my head.
interior is about 18 and a half wide, so even if we converted it back, it's not really big enough for two cars.
That
So
was an
that-
option that we looked at.
So that space right now is living space
It's
for you?
living space,
Yeah.
yeah, den, yeah, hardwood floor.
So when we moved in, there was no garage. We purchased
How long
it
have you
back.
been there?
16 years.
16 years?
The kids just moved out.
Okay. Okay. Questions?
How did we make out, we were over, we were talking about the zero. Did you make out with the, how did you make out with the architect?
Architect?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, are you ready? So I think we submitted, my cousin's the architect, so he threw up a lot of different things, but when we submitted to you, that got rejected the building permit, it's a 1.5 off the line, and I mean, they're pretty detailed architectural drawings. So we brought them, and then she said, no, just sketch it on this paper. So I said, okay, I'll sketch it. So I think that's kind of what you're going on, that the sketch, I didn't do a good job with the sketch.
No,
but the actual-
it's the numbers.
Oh.
It's the 1.5 or 0, whatever it is. That's
okay.
not your sketch.
So,
You did a great sketch.
Okay, good. No, but, so I don't know, to be honest with you, where the 0.0, because the closest corner is a 1.5 off, and then all the other walls, all the other spots are much further off. That's the closest is a 1.5.
Was the blue on the driveway, is that where you're planning on putting it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Yes.
what I was wondering.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Right.
So, back to my question.
We didn't have a chance to sit down with the architect.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. And I were talking about rearranging, maybe moving, I think, to the right, to the location of the garage.
So the only, yeah.
One of the issues, Mr. Kelly, was our septic is in the front of the house. Literally, if you walk out the front
Right.
door,
Yeah.
that's where the septic tank is.
Yeah.
And I do know the leach lines
Or
go,
somewhere.
while they go down towards the driveway. I honestly can't say for sure if we moved it to the right anymore, how close I would be coming to
Yeah.
those septic lines. I'd have to dig up the lines to find out.
Just when we were when I was at their site, I was asking for at least 5-foot clearance down the side lot line in case, for safety reasons. And talk about moving right now the garage is gonna take up like 3 feet of their house, come down the front of their house by 3 feet. And I'm asking for some more so we can get our firemen around the building and whoever else has gotta get around.
Yeah, may I point out on the right side of our house, as you're looking at it, we have a paved walkway of at least 3 or 4 feet wide, if not, well, close to more, but I have a picture if you need to see it. On the right side of our house, there's plenty of room to walk.
Yeah, yeah,
Just pointing it out.
yeah, but that was my objection to this, not having that 5-foot clearance. If your neighbor,
Yeah.
if he put up a,
So
if
it's
he
actually-
put up a
I'm
fence,
sorry, yeah.
if he put up a fence,
apologize.
then nobody could get through and then,
That was my question, is if you
Yeah,
spoken with
sorry,
your
Mr.
neighbors?
Kelly, you're absolutely right if you put up a fence. When you mentioned my name, Mike and Julie couldn't make it, but he was kind enough to provide me a letter today.
and basically saying,
He's okay with everything. I didn't ask him about a fence.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
he may or may not, or
The next
he could
person.
sell the house tomorrow and
Yeah,
somebody
you're
else.
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
That's my concern.
So they've gotta take trees out on their property?
They're taking, yeah, you guys are taking out some
Yeah.
trees between.
Do the excavating, you'd be digging
You
up
guys,
roots.
you guys are taking care of
We
that?
would take care of it,
Okay.
absolutely.
No, I'm good with it. Pass
Is
it
there
on.
Thank
any
you for
other
sharing that.
feasible way you can do that garage?
Any other physical ways?
Feasible.
Feasible. Again, a detached garage would fit in the backyard. Then you don't have a backyard and it's not attached, which we're hoping to accomplish. Mr. Kelly and I talked about moving it to the right so there's more room on that side. Now we're getting into taking out some of our windows that we have on that side of the house. There's the issue with the septic. But, I'm trying to think, what else did we look at, Laura? Oh,
We
stacking the garage.
Yeah,
Sorry,
front to
I asked you a
back.
question and I answered, I'm sorry. A thinner, skinnier garage, but longer with one car and one car. We're a little
Well, it's just inconvenient
inconvenient.
to stack the cars, you know. But I can say we probably talked about this for 15 out of the 16 years and keep
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to do it, because it's a really difficult property line, really, with all of the different facets. So just recently, I kind of came up with kind of coming to the front, hoping that we would not be so tight, but to get a 24-foot wide, which is really what we want. You know, something smaller just isn't big enough.
How do your other neighbors feel about it? Because there's nothing else in the neighborhood that is like that, really.
It's interesting because we walk around a lot and you do see garages forward of the house. Actually, Mike, my next door neighbor,
Yeah.
his garage is literally in front of his house.
But it's within. I
But
mean,
to answer your first question, the other neighbors we've talked about, they have no problems. And across the street, definitely mentioned to them, they didn't see an issue.
I mean,
I think the aesthetics would be,
yeah.
would be
I mean, I
fine.
care about the aesthetics too. I'm pretty, that's why we kept going around and around and around, other than money, but just trying to figure out the best place for it. And I don't like things that are so ostentatious and coming out to the road, but the house does sit pretty far back on the property, so I just feel, like it would be okay. If we came out a lot further, I'm not thinking so much. There's a berm in front of the house, so I think it'll buffer it. Other than the septic in the front, I also feel like if we moved it way over towards the front door, and you're kind of almost closing off the entrance, you know, you're driving up and that's all you're seeing, so I prefer to get a little aesthetic, have more of a front entrance with the garage over to the left, so. Just a lot of different, you know, we tried a lot of different scenarios in the mind. Even if we attach it in the back, then there's not even enough property to pull out, and turn, and then drive down,
They'd have
so
to go
that
up.
kiboshed that, other than it would take up all the yard as well. So, it's tough, but I mean, I feel like all of the scenarios we went through, this is really.
We're fortunate to have a fireman here this evening.
Awesome.
Oh,
Two of them?
John B. Keeney used to live across the street.
Is my concern about getting around, all the way around that house, is that a valid?
You can get around the seaside of the house, so you can.
My concern is that the property to the left of their house has a garage that's in the front part of it.
Yeah.
How far
What's-
off are they?
What's going to be the distance between their garage and your
Yeah.
finished garage? the two structures that are attached to two houses, because that's a tremendous fire load
Absolutely. If you're,
if it's so close.
yeah.
Because there is actually a fire code distance
Yeah.
on there
Oh, yeah.
So, it's
that's
my,
like 10 feet.
the architect brought that, so it's about, I'm gonna guesstimate 22 feet
Okay.
between both structures, because theirs is the to code 20 to 21. We're coming about 1.5 feet off the property line, because they're still, I'm looking at
Just
the
doesn't
last one,
make
I knocked out
sense.
1.5 feet. So I'm gonna say 22 feet between the two. He also put in the plans firewall on the left side of the entire structure.
That was my next thing, that you might have to have a fire rated wall
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the left side of the garage for that protection.
Yeah, for
Right,
that extra
right.
buffer.
yeah. So I do have a question about the firemen. I mean, that's a concern too. When he brought it up, it was a good point. So if we have our, I mean, there's 40 feet on the other side, because our 20 and then the other neighbor's 20. Is that what the firemen would do if there was a problem? Would they go to the right, or would they, I mean, obviously, if there's no fence, they probably would just plow down between the two. But if it was an issue, what do you do in those cases? Just go to the, I mean, just drive up on the lawn, go to the other side?
The situation will dictate what direction they take an attack.
It depends on where the
Right.
fire is, the property, and God forbid that ever
Yeah.
happens, so,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, they'd get to it one way or another. You
Yeah.
know, they wouldn't say, oh, I don't wanna walk around that side of the house, you know? So,
Right,
but, you know,
okay.
the biggest issue for me is the possibility of a fire. Or having to get, you know, service people down that side of the house. And, you know, we talked about.
Oh, absolutely. Valid concern.
Yeah.
What do you think, Randy, if they do a fire wall on that side of it, that it would,
Well, if the finished products, they're saying they're gonna be 22 feet apart.
right, so there's
That
enough,
would be sufficient for structure to structure.
Should be far
per
enough,
property.
yeah.
But 22 feet, as we know, with heat transfer strengths.
absolutely.
So I would feel more comfortable with a rated wall on that side.
Yeah,
Yep, that's what we planned on.
yeah.
Yep.
He said it was New York State code, I think, if you're within, I don't know,
Yeah.
he brought it up. Okay.
Do we know what kind of wall is in your neighbor's garage, if it's fire rated also?
I would
It may depend on how long ago that was built.
think
Yeah.
that, because I think that house was the first house on the block, I do know that from the prior neighbors.
Yeah.
60, that was built in 1960s, and with that being
Then it's,
up to code
Yeah.
20 off, and we were 20 off, I can't imagine.
no, then
somebody
it would be
ask
even
for
more
it.
important that your wall is, fire rated to offset any lack of code that the other buildings have.
Yeah, the neighbors next door house, that's their residence. That, their garage would be,
Or their garage, their neighbor's garage, right here.
Is it garage to
Yeah,
garage,
the
or is
majority,
that?
the majority of the garage we would put up is garage to garage. There is, because the front part is their garage, then they do have like a living room, so maybe I'm gonna just say 6 feet of that.
some,
Is where that corner,
okay, not all,
yeah,
no.
maybe 6 feet.
So you're gonna remove the trees, are you then going to replace the trees?
They've been looking to have the trees removed.
Yeah.
We, obviously for excavating purposes, digging up, we're gonna dig up the roots, the trees that obviously need to come down. You know, up to that, it's their property, where the trees are, it would be up to them. Oh, you're asking if we would put some?
Yeah.
We'd work with Mike and Julie. They definitely didn't talk about fence, and I think it would, if anything, it would be shrubbery of some sort. But we didn't get into that detail.
I mean, they want all of the trees taken down. There's like a series of pines that have gotten out of control, and I think it's a money issue. It's expensive, and they're not really wanting to do it, so I think they're actually glad that we're taking at least 3. But they've been talking about that since they moved into, just taking the trees. Like, they kind of thought the trees were on our property, but they're theirs, so I don't think they have a problem. They try to grow, they're trying to grow things, so I think
They
they're
want the sunlight.
appreciative. Yeah, I think they're appreciative. I don't think they want anything else planted. So,
Anyone else?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Huh? Yeah, we did.
I'll make the motion to close the
Second.
public hearing.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now the board is going to discuss the 5 criteria questions that we had you answer. So, all right. Okay. So whether the benefit sought by applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance.
I from putting it in the back, I don't see any other spot that it really
Well,
could go, and then that's detached and.
I brought up the fact that they could go front to back with the cars,
Yeah, you could stack
you
it,
know,
right?
you'd stack them in there, but that's something they don't wanna do for convenience.
Mhm.
But, bringing the thing further down, you say the septic system is in the front yard, that may come into play, so I guess maybe not.
Anyone else? Whether the undesirable change would be produced in character of neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties.
No,
I think it'd be fine.
I think that there's large lots and it will change the neighborhood slightly, but I don't think it's, detriment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Claire on that.
Yeah.
Whether the request variance is substantial.
It is,
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think so, huh?
Yeah.
It's a substantial change to the aesthetic of the house and the property.
There's virtually no area between the property line and the structure.
Right?
Yeah, just that 1.5
Yeah.
and, the 1.5 is, excuse me, is that the back of the garage or is that the front of the garage?
Back corner.
The back corner of the
Of the
garage?
garage.
Okay,
Wait, it's like that.
yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood?
No,
I don't think so.
no,
Okay.
there was a concern of the neighbor about runoff. I think,
Is that the neighbor they referenced or the neighbor on the other side?
I think this letter that was circulated.
Yes.
Oh, was that in the,
Mhm.
this side, right?
So, yeah, they want to make sure the runoff from the garage roof and modified driveway goes to the rear of the parcel away from the houses or down a gutter.
By all means, we're gutter up the roof line and pitch the driveway so the water doesn't go over the driveway. Yeah, Mike and I, I perfectly understand his concern. I don't want well, it's illegal to have our runoff go into his yard. So we will do everything feasible to make sure that does not happen.
I think you talked to the excavator about the
Yep.
drainage pipes too, right?
There was discussion about the architecture. Can you expound on that a little bit? It's going to match the house, it's
Oh, yeah.
going to,
Yeah.
because that didn't.
I mean, I almost like wish we had that, that's why I talked
I
about
have
it. Yeah, he's making the roof lines about the same pitch as the others. Oh.
Exterior siding going to be identical to what we have on there now. The roof line is going to be a standard, we call it gable roof.
I think we're pretty concerned about that ourselves, where we want it to all blend in and not look like some added on box. So I guess I just trust him. He picked up on the pictures of the roof and he probably put together 4 or 5 designs of the roof and then we picked one.
This is storage.
Like a Andy Concerta doesn't want it to pitch like that because you don't have a lot of property to the left. So if we pitched it the other way, you're trying to paint or get over there to put a ladder out. But if you pitch the roof one way, you can kind of just paint on a small ladder. So we thought about all that. But yeah, I think all the roof lines will blend in.
Does that need any other additional drainage?
Single story?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good question. Single story, yeah. We talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your driveway pitched now from the house to the road?
It is.
So it'll be consistent?
Yes.
So if you took a gutter from your neighbor's side toward the center of your house, dropped it down toward the middle of your driveway, it would send it right down to the street
Yes.
and solve that whole problem on that side.
Yeah, and we're also
Yeah.
put a little lip on
Yeah.
the neighbor's side of it just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, the neighbor was talking about putting it to the back of the house, so I guess we're talking to the excavator, but it just seemed to make more sense to us to try to run it like forward since the slope goes to the front, so
He was mentioning that he didn't mind it if I drained it, the back part to the back.
Oh,
That's why I
okay.
wrote it in.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, last question was whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to suggest a condition that be added to this, that the architecture must match the existing house and everything.
And we need to probably add that,
The motion?
safety wall.
I was gonna say, I was just thinking that, add the fire-coated wall.
It's in the plan.
They're gonna have to have a fire rated wall anyways on the resident side of the structure.
Between the house and the garage.
Yeah,
But on the garage side to the neighbor's
Neighbors.
right.
That's,
property.
So most likely, depends on what the architect does, they can do like a firewall or barrier that goes from ground to peak. Okay, and cut the house off and that would meet some standards. Or you could stipulate that the entire garage be fire enclosed, whether it stays within the garage, meaning the fire walls, ceiling, etc.
oh,
That makes sense, yeah.
So that would, for your protection too.
And
all of this-
all the walls.
Yes,
In the same.
yeah,
That
This
would be
way
a
it's a-
condition.
Front and back.
We did
too?
talk about,
Not just right and left?
right.
correct. So you're gonna sheet,
All the way around.
the sheet rock, you'll use like a type X 5/8.
Yeah.
And that will actually confine it inside that garage.
yeah, is that a double layer?
Single layer.
Single?
Single layer.
And then the other condition is that the, what would you
I
say?
think it was the runoff. right?
Runoff
The
away from
neighbor.
both houses or down a gutter in the driveway towards the road, so it doesn't flow between the slope between our houses.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense.
So that condition also,
So, so 3 conditions, the architecture, the walls, and drainage?
yes, architecture, wall, and drainage.
And I think Debbie got that,
Yeah.
so, that we're making the motion.
Do you have any?
Yeah. So what exactly do you mean by architecture? Like to match the house? Like what are you, in your mind, what are you referring to exactly?
So we're talking the same color, the painted the same color,
Oh.
the actual, that it's not sticking out like a sore thumb, that it's,
Yes.
it matches the
Okay.
look of the house.
Yes, okay. That's what I was thinking. too.
Or even
That's one
complements it.
Complements
Would
it,
be
Yeah,
a
it's
good
not
word
gonna be
as
like a
well.
bright purple.
Yeah.
You talk to all your neighbors now, right?
I'm sorry?
You get along with all your neighbors? now?
Absolutely. Great
So when
neighborhood.
you're-
Otherwise, we'd be moving to a house with a garage.
So, when you get through with this addition of the garage, your neighbors are still gonna talk to you.
Absolutely.
There you go.
That's the goal.
Okay.
That's
There
great,
you
that's a great question.
All right, I ask for a motion to approve or deny the request.
Or, well, the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would
Yes. Motion.
I can do it, I don't know what the three things are.
I've got it written
Okay.
down, as described, or whatever you want to say.
Madam Chairman, I move that the zoning board grant an area variance to Andrew Cummings for the real property located at 7 Edgewood Parkway, Fayetteville, New York, 13066. This variance is being granted for the specific purpose of permitting the construction of a 24-foot by 30-foot garage, thereby modifying the 20-foot side yard setback to that of 0 feet.
I believe it's,
We're gonna do 1.5 now?
yes, 1.5.
Okay.
So
No, I know that, I think they just went around, I think it was 1 foot 4 inches, so do we have,
We can say
do
that.
we
I
have
mean,
a foot and a half or don't we have a foot and a half? I just noticed that when the plan
Yeah,
was
it
being
says
passed around, it was 1 foot 4
1
inches.
foot 4 inches on that, yeah.
So we might not have it a foot and a half.
Well, is everyone comfortable with that 1 foot 4 inches?
Or should we give them,
2-inch difference.
should we give them a 1 foot variance, so they have that few inches to play with?
It gives them a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
This much.
Make it 1 foot even.
Yeah.
1 foot even? Okay. Thereby modifying the 20-foot side yard setback to that of 1 foot, leaving a variance of 19 feet.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second.
Okay. So you've been granted your,
Yeah, with the conditions.
with the conditions, you've been granted, the 3 conditions granted your request.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess I would also recommend that you have your surveyor stake that,
I was just gonna say,
because you're gonna have a huge problem when you go to sell that house, if ever, and the neighbors are gonna have a problem, because you just have no leeway there,
Yeah.
so.
Can we, because I was looking into that yesterday, actually, surveyors, can you get a surveyor to just do that line? Or
Yes.
do they have to do your whole property? Okay,
They'll do that.
okay, because I'm trying to figure out.
And
Yeah.
why do you say there'd be a problem selling?
Because if your garage goes on someone else's property.
Oh, if it does go.
Right,
Yeah.
and you just don't have that,
Right, yeah.
you know, we granted you a 13-foot variance and you're a foot off, who cares? And this, you care. to
Yeah,
the
it's
inch.
not, if it does, if
If it goes over
if
any
it goes
bit.
over, yeah,
Yes.
that's solid, yeah.
And
you're
it's a
absolutely
problem
right.
to your neighbor as well.
Sure,
Also,
No,
if you have your overhang from the new portion, will go over that 1 foot.
Will it? Or?
If it's gonna
it
match your
shouldn't.
existing house,
yeah, it should, right.
but
the code says structure's edge, which would be the
Foundation.
overhanging soffit, that edge, even though it's, say, 14 inches off the wall,
yeah,
that edge is the edge of the structure,
not the foundation.
not the foundation. The edge of that building is the edge of that
My
roof.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
That helps,
So
I
that-
didn't, wasn't
Well,
sure of that.
and same issue, because even if you have an overhang on your neighbor's property, that's an issue.
Right, no, right, you just answered the question of what does that line mean? Then it's the,
But it'd be, have
overhang.
that clearly documented, so down the road, if you're gonna sell the house, you've got it.
Yeah.
If you took a string line and went straight up from your property line,
Yeah.
you can't touch anything.
anything,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah. So coming back to, so right now we have 4-foot overhangs. We weren't planning on having 4-foot overhangs on the garage structure anyhow.
The
But
existing house, the soffits are very, very large.
yeah, they're 4
Oh, I
foot.
wouldn't
So
have done that.
as far as architecture, we weren't gonna, we're just gonna have like the foot. So
Well, let your architect know what
Yeah.
the parameters are, and,
Yeah,
yeah, that's gonna be really important. And then the codes person, not Randy, some random person, yet to be determined, is going to come out, and they'll be measuring. I mean,
Yeah.
that's their job.
No,
Right.
absolutely. That's
When you
right.
put the footer in, you might wanna have them come measure, make sure.
What's your timeline on building this?
excavating July, building August.
August, September.
Yeah.
Before they even start, okay.
That's the structure. You can take-
Some random
Okay.
person.
How long is the building permit for? A year? I think I might have
A year.
1 year and then
To
it's
complete or to begin?
complete, but it can be renewed for another year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
once it's been
The
granted.
the second renewal can't be renewed in the office. the third time has to go to the planning board for the planning board approval, okay, to continue the project.
Okay.
So if
So
it's not-
technically after 3 years, but after the 2-year mark, it's more, okay.
Well, it's two, but if the planning board decides not to grant another extension, the project's over.
Got it.
And then you have to reapply all over again and start over. So,
But it shouldn't take more than a couple of months.
No,
Right.
it's just that lumber prices
That's the lumbers
escalated,
and,
so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that comes back down.
Well,
yeah.
the variance stays with the land, so you, if you're not in any rush to put the building permit in, sit on it until you're comfortable that your time frame is gonna be fine, and then submit it. That's all.
Gotcha.
Because the variance isn't gonna go away, it's with the land now, because it was granted. Okay, so now you can sit on it
It's
till
the
you're.
permit that.
You're right, and if you wanna watch the pricing,
Yeah.
you think the pricing's gonna go up or down, then you can base on putting in your permit.
Thank you, that's
Okay.
good to know.
I thought the permit was set right out like tomorrow, when you have a year for that, no, so.
No, that's your choice when you wanna put the permit in.
Okay.
So if you already have the application in and you don't wanna complete it, you can pull it back, and then when the timing is right for you, financially or pricing, then you could submit that.
So tomorrow I'll give Lisa the approval for your variance, and you can have communication with her what you want to do with the permit.
Perfect.
Because otherwise, she does pretty much crank them right out.
Right, I thought that's what she
Yeah.
said.
She'll
Yeah, so
process
it's
it.
like.
So
Yep.
I'll let her know with a sticky note, but if you want to call and just confirm, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate all your
Yeah,
information. It's been
thanks.
very helpful.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck on it.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Take care.
night.
I'll tell Jane you said hi.
Okay, all right, very good.
Okay, do we have any other business to discuss?
I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate.
I wanted to do that too.
But
But you can do it too, because you've known him
I
longer.
was gonna
To
say
say
something
about
good, so.
about KP for your leadership since taking over for Henry, and also to wish you luck, Judy, and your old agent and chairperson.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted
Thank
to-
you for your help, KP, with everything.
Yeah,
It's been great.
yeah,
wanted to
And
do
you're
the
not
same.
going anywhere, you just moved over there.
just moved over, yeah,
Same
Yeah.
thing, thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great job, people. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And, Mr. Capriotti, is this our last meeting with you?
This is our last meeting.
Aw.
We'll have
Well,
to,
thank you
I
for all
love
that
working with
you,
all these, we had a.
thank you for all that you've done.
we'll have to
Your
come
knowledge
visit him at
is-
Turningstone.
That's it,
That's
yeah.
right.
We get free chips, right?
Yeah.
Potato chips.
Or the buffet. Buffet.
The buffet, I get, okay.
But
But-
thank you, Randy. Your
No,
knowledge
Randy,
and
thank you.
everything, it's
Thank you.
been,
Yes.
learned a lot from you.
I'm not,
I,
I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
Is there,
I hear
Things
from
never change.
the other side, from the builders, the people in the business, and you did very well. You know, it's, I don't wanna say it's been easy to, you know, but there's been some building inspectors where it's been impossible. So at least when you were here in your reign, it was very reasonable.
All you gotta be is fair.
Hmm?
Just be fair.
Just be fair, yeah,
So,
yeah, but
thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
is there anything we need to be aware of from a ZBA side of things as they start working on the comprehensive plan? Or not
I-
quite yet?
Yeah.
All the stakeholders will be called in, you know, to comment on things. They're just sort of in the beginning stages
Yeah, I know it's
right
kind of in
now.
the formational stage
Right.
now, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have a feeling at some point we probably wanna have this board have a
Yes.
conversation. Like, we'll probably send
Yes.
some things your way as we suss it out through surveys and meetings and stuff. But for the most part, it's just, at the end of the day, it's a big conversation, and then we're gonna work with our engineering firm to put it into a plan, so.
'Cause I just ask, cause like I know there's been some changes with some zoning recently and that conflicts with zoning of the villages and, yeah, how's that all looking that going forward? So I was just a little curious on that.
Anything else?
Make a
Is there
motion that
to
we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.